Okay, so we're recording. Let me kick off with the session. So thank you all for coming to this training this morning. I really appreciate it and appreciate your time. The reason we're recording this session is we are going to make it available to you to watch at some other stage in the future. So what I'm going to cover today is just an overview and introduction to the components of the Modern Practice Portal. Talk about configuration and installation and the tasks ahead of most of you once you install it. And then we're going to do some real training about modifying the home page and adding some new features to your practice. So the presentation, we've only got 10 slides. Most of this we're going to play with things, and we'll be finished today at 10 o'clock. So nice short fire session. Now, as you've noticed from our website, there are more sessions coming up, and we're going to keep adding to those as we move forward. Every one of these sessions will record in a webcast format and then make that available on the Hub One website under the Modern Practice, so you can go and look at these at will. So an overview is, let's talk about the Modern Practice Portal and what it is. Basically, it's enterprise-grade document management for accountants and bookkeepers who are using Workflow Max. So it extends the features of Workflow Max, introduces them into SharePoint, and gives you the same level of document management that enterprises have across the world. So some really cool features, and the key ones are, first of all, version control, so you can check in and check out documents and prevent document version nightmares. Auto-filing, which allows the system to automatically file your documents in the right place once you decide what that data is. And as we do the other sessions moving forward, you'll understand how to put that all together. That's not today's. Secure client access, so you can create sites that your clients can come and log in and upload and download documents and look at content that you want to provide them. Search. There's rich search in the Modern Practice Portal, which allows you to find documents based on client, contact, TFN, ABN, in fact, any piece of information you want. There's the ability to add what we call document metadata. So instead of just name, author, and title, which you get in Word, we can extend this, and we extend this to add all of the fields that are available in Workflow Max. So you can attach things like client, like tax file number, like ABN, like contact, like year, almost any type of information you want you can attach, and it doesn't just have to come from Workflow Max. You can create your own data tables that get attached to documents as well. Obviously, I've just got a message from Sheila saying she can't get sound. I'm just going to say, Max, don't have sound. We are recording the session, and we'll post later today. Okay. So obviously Workflow Max integration. The final piece is templates. That gives you the ability to add and attach Word, Excel, and PowerPoint templates and fill them in with data from either Workflow Max or from SharePoint itself. So it's a really rich, all-encompassing document management system. And over the next few training sessions, what we're going to do is we're going to actually teach you how to, once we've implemented this in your practice, how to add all the bells and whistles you could possibly want to make this fly specifically for your needs. So really what we do is we provide this base level infrastructure, we hook it up to Workflow Max for you, and then we can help you actually get your data uploaded, get your templates created, and get it working within your practice. So a few things to do once it's actually in and implemented. So if I move forward, there's another thing we provide with the Modern Practice Portal, and that's called the Productivity Hub. At its core, it's a solution that Microsoft provide. And Microsoft have been providing this for about 3 years for customers who have SharePoint on premises. It's a free solution, and it gives you information, training, and education on the latest versions of Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Publisher, Office 365, SharePoint, and Link, and really is the go-to place when you want to know how to rename users, how to update templates, how to create spark lines. So it really is that core hub of learning and training information. Specifically when you get new members of staff in your practice, this is somewhere you can point them so they can be hyper efficient with the productivity tools they have. So we throw that in for free. It's got about 1 gig of content, including videos, documents, courses, exams, the whole lot. So you've really got a really great internal training resource. We're going to do a training session next week, which actually shows you how to add your own content. So you can actually deliver training and learning content about your practice into the Productivity Hub, which we think will help people use it and also gives you a ton of additional information. So let's talk about the configuration and installation process. I'm going to start at the bottom of this slide, and I'm going to talk about the Productivity Hub, because there's nothing really for you to do here. What we do is we set up the Productivity Hub for you, we install the templates, and we throw in the content. And we do that for you. So there really is, to use the Productivity Hub, nothing you really need to do. It just works. For the Modern Practice Portal, there's a bunch of other things which happen. I'll talk about what we do and then what you need to do once we've implemented. So first of all, we create some sites. So we create a Modern Practice Portal site, we create a document center for your document management, and we create a top-level site for your clients if you want to create secure client access. We then configure the templates, and by doing that we introduce the look and feel and the additions for it to integrate with Workflow Max. Then we're into what you want to do. The Modern Practice Portal comes with a basic homepage, and we've designed this to be the real hub, the portal, if you will, to the whole of your practice. And so we set up some basic links, which you'll see in a minute, and you are free to go in and modify those and create and edit those so you have a single place your entire practice can go to, which gives them one-click access to everything they use. The next thing we recommend you do is start adding information about your practice. And you can do this in the form of wikis or document libraries. And in fact, in this training course today, we're going to show you how to do that. Once you've done that, you go into the Document Center and configure your templates and rules. You copy across your data, and you teach your staff how to use it. So the Productivity Hub's really easy, and once the Modern Practice Portal is up, it's all about making it specific for your practice and configuring it. So we're going to start taking you through that today. So today's training, we're going to talk about configuring the home page so we can create a single practice portal. We're going to talk about adding and maintaining a wiki so you can actually store information about your practice. We're going to go in and create one. And we're going to talk about how you set permissions. So we're just going to do some first level permissions to give people access to the site, and when we do the rest of the training we're going to talk about permissions for templates, permissions for folders, and permissions for the document library, which is a bit more in depth. So just 3 little smatterings of training which will hopefully give you a leg up to go and actually play with what you have today. So let's start off with modifying the home page. So if I move across to my copy of the Modern Practice Portal, which I'll do right now, and while that happens, I'm just going to cough and have a sip of tea. Hold on. Okay, what you should be able to see on your screen is the Modern Practice Portal homepage. And the one we configure for you has 6 main tabs, and I'll take you through them. First of all, on the left we have the Document Center, which is a sub-site under your Modern Practice site. And don't worry if you don't understand the terms yet. As you go through the rest of the training, these terms will start to make sense. There's a link to a list of clients, which are all your clients out of Workflow Max. And you can go in and change this if you want to, if you don't want that to be there. There's Zero, which is obviously your link into your Zero Practice Manager. Workflow Max, which is your link to your Workflow Max Practice Manager. Harmony, which is a rich piece of email integration which integrates Outlook on your iPad with SharePoint. So you can do document management on your iPad, or you can do document management straight out of Outlook. And there's the link to the Productivity Hub. Let me show you how we edit this page and make it useful for our needs. So on the top bar, you can see we have Site Actions, Browse, and Page. If we want to edit the page, we just click on Page. And then on the left-hand side, we can click on Edit. That takes us into the editing view. Now, the page doesn't change very much, but you can see if I scroll down, I can actually go in and start adding pictures. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert, using the Insert menu, a picture from my computer. And what it's going to do is it's going to pop up a little thing for me to insert. I'll browse and let me go and find a picture. How about this? We'll choose our blog. Right, I will just save that document. And what I have now is I have another tile which might link to our blog. Now, right now, that's just a picture. It doesn't link anywhere. If I want to link it, I select it, I hit Insert again, and choose a hyperlink. Right, so we're going to choose Hub1 blog, http www.hub1.com/blog. Yeah, now what I've done is I've just created a link there. My bad, let me fix that up. Right, so insert picture from computer, browse, my blog tile, okay, save. Right, select that. Right, let me just fix that one up. Select that. Up. Insert hyperlink. www.hub1.com. Blog. There we go. Done. So now that's saved in my page, and that's a link to the Hub1 blog. If I go back to page and hit save and close, that's what my users see now. Now, obviously, I haven't formatted it beautifully or set it up, but I've now created another link to another application. And you can add as many as you want into that screen, and you can change sizes, and you can add text, and you can really do whatever you want. So it's really important before you let your users at the modern practice, is that you get that front page set up so it has links to everything they need. So, nice and simple there. Let's go back to the presentation. So there we are. That was modifying the home page. So what you do is you go into the home page, and as an administrator, you go to the Page tab and hit Edit. And it's just like using Word or Office. There's a ribbon there which takes you through the various options. Feel free to play with it. If you don't like what you've done, just close down the page and don't save it, and you won't have made any changes at all. Obviously, if you get stuck and you break it, get hold of us, and we can either reset back to where it was originally, or we can help you with that. So that's modifying the home page. Next step, adding and maintaining a wiki. Wikis are, and let me explain what a wiki is. If you've ever been to Wikipedia, you'll notice that that's a huge set of documents and links and all sorts of things which is maintained by a community. And we find in an organization, there's actually a community of people who have various knowledge about how bits of process in your business works. And it's really important to write them down. But what you find is if people are writing them down in Word documents and saving them in a folder somewhere, those tend to get stale really quickly. Whereas what we find is if you're using a wiki, that information doesn't get stale and people can update it as well, at will. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into our modern practice portal. We're going to create a wiki and we're going to create some pages. It's really simple. Let me show you how to do this. This is really fun stuff. So let me go back to my modern practice portal. Okay, so you now should be able to see where we left off. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to add a wiki library. And let me show you how I do this. Here, as you see, we have Browse and Page. This time I'm going to go to Site Actions. I'm going to drop down that menu on Site Actions, and I'm going to choose More Options because I want to create something. If I click on More Options, a screen will come up giving me a whole bunch of different things I can create. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll down until I find Wiki Library. Here we are, Wiki Page Library. And I'm going to call this Company Knowledge Base, which is going to hold a repository for all the information in my company. So if I hit Create, that will have created the company knowledge base. So that will be under Libraries, Company Knowledge Base, and the Recently Modified tab shows me the recently modified documents in the Company Knowledge Base. So anyway, let's go into this one, which is the first page, which I don't really like, and I'm going to edit. So you can give your users, and we'll talk about that in a minute, permissions to edit this, but I'm going to go and do a brand new one here. So first thing I want to do is I'm going to put in our logo. So let me insert a picture from my computer, browse, go back to my pictures, and choose the Hub 1 logo. So I'm going to say OK. I'll save that. There we go, the Hub 1 logo. Now what I want to do is I actually want to put in what this is going to be. So Hub 1, Company. So I'll make that nice and big. Right, let me just make that, I'll make that 18 points and I'll make it bold. There we are. And my favorite font of the day is Tahoma. That looks a bit nicer. So I'll save that. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some normal text in. So I'll drop back down to 12 point and I'm going to go use this library to understand all about working at Hub 1. Now I want to put some categories in. So I'll hit the little bullet point because I feel like bullets. And if I want to put in a category, it's going to link to another page. So let's do this. So we'll do a company handbook. Let's do leave procedure. Blog, tweet, and social media. Dress code. Now, what you see I'm doing there is I'm putting these categories in double square brackets. What it's actually doing is when I save this page, which I'm going to do right now, it's going to create those as hyperlinks. But it doesn't link anywhere. There's nowhere for it to go. So what I need to do is I now need to start filling out that data. So let's go into leave procedure. And it says, this page doesn't exist. Would you like to create it? And I'll say, yes, please. And what I'm going to say here is for more information, company handbook. And I'm going to show you how really easily, I'll save and close that, how really easily this all comes together. So I'm now going to go to the company handbook, which doesn't exist, and I'll create it. And I'm just going to very simply put welcome to the company handbook. I'm going to save that. Now what we'll see, if we go back to home, is both the company handbook and leave procedure have already been filled in. So it doesn't matter where I create a link. If I've created that link, it populates all of the ones throughout my entire wiki. So you can create a highly linked together set of information with documents, with embedded videos, with attached information, which really give that rich information of how the company works. One of the things we like to do in our business is give almost everybody access to fill in and add things. Obviously, we can go through a moderation process, we can do check-ins and check-outs, but we can make sure that all the information about our company is up to date. So if I go back home to the Modern Practice portal, you'll see I have my big tabs at the front, but if I go to libraries, I have my company knowledge base sitting there. So there we are. We've quickly created a company knowledge base. We're able to put in whatever information I need, and I'm sure you'll be able to make that far prettier than I have. So that's how you create a wiki library in the Modern Practice portal, which gives you information about all of your company. Okay, so next slide is setting and configuring permissions. And so this is how you give rights to the Modern Practice portal. Now, right now, You have the Modern Practice portal installed, but you won't have given anybody rights. It will be limited to you. And we recommend that you leave that until at least you've got the home page configured so you can actually go and start teaching people how to use it. So, how do we grant other people permissions? It's kind of easy. Let me show you. Right, so let's connect back to my Modern Practice portal, which will be quite familiar to you now, hopefully. I spent about 10 minutes looking at it. So if I just go back to the home page so I know what I'm looking at, there I am, back at the home. All I did was click home there. If I go to Site Actions and Site Settings, this is where we're going to set permissions. So I'll click on Site Settings. That will appear. Then I can choose People and Groups. There's a couple of people I've granted direct access to. Let me go back. If I go to Site Permissions, you see I have some groups here. Members, owners, and visitors. So owners are people who have full control. They can modify what things look like, they can create wiki libraries, etc. And that should really be limited to you or your administrators. When we go into members, this is normally most of your staff. You wouldn't really use visitors. So if I go into members, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some users. I'm going to add a couple of people out of my organization. So I'm going to add Eric, and I'm going to add Tom. And it will say, I'm not sure who you mean. Well, I mean Eric D, and I mean Tom Lenine. Right, those are there, and I can get it also to send them an email with a link to the Modern Practice portal so they know where to go to. So I'm now going to add those users in, and they now have rights to the Modern Practice portal, so they can dive in and they can use it, they can contribute, they can add documents. All of those things are available to them. So there's basic permissioning. Now obviously when we go forward into the next set of training courses, we're going to go into a bit more depth of how we add more permissions and give people more rights and get a bit more complex about it. But that really is the basic way it works. And you can see over here, we can see our groups, so we can actually go and modify that. So I'm going to go back home to our Modern Practice portal. You know, I don't like that blog thing I added, so I'm just going to go and edit that and pull it out. So we'll take that and I'll hit the delete button. That's far nicer. Right, and I'm going to hit save and close. And we'll go back to the presentation. Okay, that's our first basic training session. So I hope that's been useful. We're going to take the recording, and what we're going to do is we're going to break it apart into those little training snippets you saw, and we're going to publish those on our website within the next 24 hours. But while you're still here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop recording, and then if you have any questions, I'd love to hear from you. So let me just dive through. I'm going to stop recording.